In today's episode, I'm going to tell a story from the book Switch about a healthcare provider dealing with a talent retention issue. They wanted to figure out why nurses were leaving and what they could do to retain them. But by flipping the question on its head, they discovered that identity was the key to retention. Loveless Health System in New Mexico was experiencing rapid turnover among its nurses. They were concerned about the costs of replacing them, the effect the turnover was having on morale, and the risks to patient care during each transition. So the vice president of hospital operations tried an unconventional approach to analyzing the turnover problem. She brought in a consultant who was an expert in appreciative inquiry. Just like the positive deviance I talked about in episode 7, appreciative inquiry focuses on the bright spots in an organization and asks questions much like those asked in the solutions-focused therapy that I described in episode 8. Appreciative inquiry was created by David Cooperrider and Suresh Srivastava. Here is David Cooperrider.
In a nutshell, appreciative inquiry is an approach to transformation and development that is all based on a questioning kind of approach that searches for everything that gives life to a living human system when it's most alive. And it uses that kind of inquiry process. For example, we have an encyclopedia of positive questions, hundreds and hundreds of carefully crafted questions to help elevate the true, the good, the better, the possible, everything that gives life to a system.
Appreciative inquiry changed the focus of the investigation from why so many nurses were leaving to why other nurses were staying. They interviewed 100 nurses and asked what made their jobs satisfying. They discovered that the nurses who stayed were fiercely loyal to the profession of nursing. They got satisfaction from their identity as nurses. It was the nobility of the nursing profession itself that gave meaning to their work. Armed with this knowledge, the hospital administration started to focus on how they could help nurses cultivate their identity. They began to recognize extraordinary nursing performance. They created mentorship programs, and they developed an orientation program built around the admirable nature of nursing work. The first signs of the change were improvements in employee satisfaction survey scores. Then turnover decreased by 30%. But then something surprising happened. Patient satisfaction survey scores started increasing as well. This story teaches us several things about how to bring about change. We learned from appreciative inquiry to look not just at solving problems by focusing on what's wrong, but to examine what is going right and ask questions in a manner that highlights the positive aspects of people's experiences. We also learned another example of the power of identity and how strengthening that identity can change people's behavior. Don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode.